Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the MR Ali English podcast. I am your host, Ali.
And I'm Emily. Hi, everyone. Today's episode is very important because we are going to cover the top news stories from the United States. These stories are not only important for people living in America, but also for anyone around the world who wants to learn English and understand global news.
That's right, Emily. We always explain the news in clear, simple English, so if you're learning English, don't worry. Just relax, listen carefully, and try to repeat some sentences after us. First story, U.S. government shutdown.
Our first story is about the United States government shutting down. On October 1st, 2025, the U.S. Congress failed to agree on funding the government. Because of this, many federal services have stopped or slowed down.
Now, let's explain this word, shutdown. Shutdown means to stop working. A government shutdown means the government does not have enough permission to spend money, so many departments have to stop or reduce their work.
Exactly. During a shutdown, many federal workers are furloughed. Furlough means they stay at home and cannot work, and usually they don't get paid immediately. Some workers, like those in national security, still work, but even they may not get their salary on time.
Let's talk about the real effects of this shutdown. Imagine you want to visit a U.S. national park, like Yellowstone or the Grand Canyon. During a shutdown, the parks may close or have very limited services.
Yes, and if you are traveling by airplane, you may face longer security lines because many airport staff are not fully paid, and some workers may call in sick.
Also, services like passports or visas inside the U.S. become slower. Some offices may stop processing applications.
This is not the first time the U.S. has had a government shutdown. In fact, it has happened many times in American history. One of the longest shutdowns happened in 2018 to 2019 and lasted 35 days. During that time, hundreds of thousands of workers struggled to pay their bills.
So, this shows us that shutdowns are not just political fights, they affect normal families. People cannot pay rent, cannot buy enough food, and stress levels become very high. Second story, U.S. federal courts warning.
Our second story is connected to the shutdown. The federal courts in the United States announced that if the shutdown continues beyond October 3, 2025, they may not be able to operate normally.
The federal courts are where many important cases happen, including criminal trials, immigration cases, and business lawsuits.
During a shutdown, courts try to keep essential services running. That means emergency cases will continue, but smaller or less urgent cases may be delayed for weeks or even months.
Let's imagine this. A business wants to sue another company. Normally, the case would go to court in a few weeks, but if the shutdown continues, that case might not be heard until next year. That slows down business, creates uncertainty, and even hurts the economy.
And for individuals, especially immigrants waiting for hearings, this is very stressful. Families may be separated longer. People may wait months just to get a decision about staying in the country.
Exactly. This shows how deeply the shutdown affects daily life. The courts are like the heart of justice. If they slow down, people lose trust in the system. Third story, U.S. visa interview changes.
Our third big story is about U.S. visa rules. Starting October 1, 2025, the U.S. has changed its system for visa interviews.
In the past, some people could renew their visa without going to a new interview. This was called an interview waiver.
But now, the new rule says that more people will have to attend in-person interviews at U.S. embassies or consulates.
Why is this important? Because millions of people around the world apply for U.S. visas every year for studying, working, tourism, or visiting family. If interviews are required for more people, the waiting times will increase.
For example, if you are a student from India or Pakistan who wants to study in America, you may now need to book an appointment many months before your classes start.
So, what can people do? First, check the official U.S. Embassy website in your country. Second, collect all required documents, passport, admission letter, financial proof, and so on. Third, practice speaking English because interviews are usually in English.
Let's practice some common interview questions. I will ask and you answer. Why do you want to study in the United States?
A simple answer could be, I want to study in the U.S. because American universities have excellent programs in my field, and I want to gain international experience.
Very good. Another common question is, who will pay for your education? A good answer could be, my parents will support me financially and I also have some scholarship funds.
Practicing these answers makes you more confident. Remember, short, clear, and honest answers are the best. Why these stories matter globally.
Now, some people might say, why should I care about these U.S. stories if I don't live in America? That's a good question.
Well, the U.S. is one of the world's largest economies and has a big influence on global politics and business. When the U.S. government shuts down, it affects the global stock market, international trade, and even foreign policy decisions.
Also, U.S. visa rules directly affect students, workers, and tourists worldwide. Many people dream of going to the United States for better opportunities, so these changes matter.
Now let's practice some new words from today's episode. Shutdown, when something stops working. Example, the government had a shutdown. Furlough, when workers are told to stay home without pay.
Example, many workers were furloughed during the shutdown.
Consulate, an office of a country in another country. Example, I went to the U.S. consulate for my visa. Waiver, official permission to skip something. Example, he got a waiver to skip the interview. Judiciary, the system of courts and judges. Example, the judiciary cannot work without funding. Repeat after us and try to use these words in your own sentences. Here's a small activity for you. Write 3 sentences about today's news. For example, the U.S. government had a shutdown. Courts may close after October 3rd. Visa rules have changed.
Practicing with simple sentences helps you remember both the news and the English.
Let's quickly recap today's 3 big stories. The U.S. government shut down on October 1st, 2025, because Congress failed to agree on funding. The federal courts warned they may not function normally after October 3rd without money. The U.S. visa system changed, and now more people will need in-person interviews.
All of these stories show how government decisions affect people's daily lives, from workers and travelers to students and families.
Thank you for listening to the MRLE English podcast. We hope today's episode helped you understand the news in simple English.
Don't forget to subscribe, share, and practice your English with us. See you next time.